This began as a black and white painting, and now it's starting to come alive, but only because I treated colour carefully. Adding colour to a painting can be really difficult, and you can ruin really good paintings by doing the wrong thing. A lot of people glaze with acrylics, and they end up actually flattening their image and ruining the form. But today I'm going to show you how you can bring your paintings to life with colour without losing that underlying structure. The foundation for this painting is all about values. Before even picking up a paintbrush with any colour on it, I make sure all of the darks, mid-values and lights are exactly where I want them to be. If you start thinking about colour too much over things like value, composition and form, then your painting is just very quickly going to collapse. You want to make sure you're starting your painting with a good, solid base, a structural foundation that you can work on top of and improve. I mix the colours with a medium and water to keep it transparent. I apply it in really thin layers. Notice I'm not actually completely covering up that black and white underpainting. That's what's actually doing most of the heavy lifting at this stage of the painting. The temptation with acrylics is to rush because they dry so fast. Just slap on that opaque colour straight away. And that's how you end up ruining all of that hard work that you've already put in. You end up losing that underlying structure. Instead, I think in layers. I'm thinking my lighter colours, my mid-tone colours, and then my darkest colours. And then each subsequent glaze just adds and elevates what's underneath. Now that the basic colours have been blocked in, I can start to think about refining the painting. But first, here's a quick little tip when it comes to glazing. I'm going to just show you a couple of different things that I do with my glazing that helps just elevate the painting a little bit. And it starts with the two different mediums that I use, the water and the glazing medium. They both have slightly different properties. If I want a really transparent layer, like super transparent, barely there kind of layer, then I'm going to use water as my medium. Whereas if I want a little bit more of a substantial layer that's a little bit more opaque and a little bit more pigmented, so a brighter, more saturated colour, then I'm going to glaze with that gloss glazing medium. And that's pretty much the difference between the two of them, at least in the way that I use them. So for this demonstration, because I am wanting quite a bright saturated colour going over the top of these balls, I'm pretty much just using that gloss glazing medium. But there's actually a few different techniques that we can use in glazing. There's the transparent glazing, which is what you're seeing, but we can also do some opaque glazes too. And that's where we'll take a little bit of a thicker colour, usually a more opaque colour like a titanium white for example, and we can mix that directly into that wet glaze. So we're almost working wet into wet. And what that is going to do is going to pick up a little bit of that glazed colour and also make the painting or the paint a little bit more opaque and cover up what's underneath. Now this is perfect for things like highlights, which is exactly what I did with this ball. The other really simple technique involves a secondary colour or a third colour if you want to. Doesn't matter what you're trying to paint. If you just try and use one single colour, you're going to probably end up with quite a flat picture, even if your values are in the right place. So to change that, and especially with wildlife art, we can use multiple colours. So for this one, I'm using a magenta and a blue, and I'm actually creating some transitionary colours, some purples between those two colours. And what that is going to do is just add a little bit more interest. This is especially helpful when you're thinking about backgrounds, because the light that you see on those backgrounds, the colours of those backgrounds, that light is going to be reflected back at the subjects you're trying to paint. So, for example, I'm going to paint this floor blue. So this ball is going to have some blue on that side that is reflecting the light from the background, if that makes sense. And just by thinking about that and doing that little extra step makes your paintings come alive. I'm not painting every single hair, I'm just suggesting that texture. The value layers suggest 4, and then the colours give it that mood and life. I don't need to go over the top with details. Glazes behave a little bit differently on wet acrylics and dry acrylics. If the first layer isn't completely dry, then it can actually lift away unpredictably. With this technique, patience is key. I actually did this underpainting the black and white version a few weeks ago, and you might have already seen that video. If you haven't seen that video and you aren't sure how I got to this stage with the black and white underpainting, then go and check it out at the end of this video. I'll also leave a link in the description. It's probably the most important thing about painting, so make sure you don't miss it. I take quite a technical approach to painting. I like to have a solid foundation to work on top of. I don't just jump straight in with the details. I've learned to take my time with my brushwork and make sure every brushstroke counts. The great thing about glazing is because the paint is so transparent, you can still see all the other layers of paint underneath, and that really builds up to create super soft but also really detailed looking fur, which is amazing when you're aiming for realism. See how the values guide the colour. The form feels solid, it looks 3D and rounded. The painting feels alive. It just goes to show that taking the time to build up that underpainting, that structural formful layer first, really pays off. This is why I absolutely love glazing. You can really easily build realism without overworking the painting. It is absolutely my favourite technique to use when I'm painting in acrylics, and you can even apply this to oil paints. If you haven't seen it already, here is a video that shows how I can apply oils over the top of acrylics to create an even more glowing, soft and formful look to my paintings. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.